Hello, friends. Welcome to Bear Woman's Den. This is a personal share. I'm on day 5 of my official retreat time. It's mainly consisting of protected solitude time. And I moved more into the processing of emotional stuff that's been going on. The 3 focuses for this retreat are recharging, recentering, and refocusing. So I've been doing a lot of recharging, mainly in the form of lots and lots of sleep and rest time, a lot of downtime, abstaining from checking email, abstaining from checking voice messages, abstaining from checking news, and things like that. Also, I have been abstaining from attending groups of various kinds and most of my social contacts. So, part of what that's helped me do is getting back to more of an even keel. For months now, I've been feeling a chronic sense of agitation and irritability. And because of the timing, I suspected that it could potentially be a side effect of a new medication that I began. However, within just a few days of setting aside my ordinary roles and responsibilities and things to which I felt obligated, even if I really wasn't, um, that has dissipated. So, and it's remained dissipated. So, it's pretty clear to me that my sense for the past couple of months that I've been drawn in too many different divergent directions has been an accurate sense. And um, so I'm still doing recharging. It's overlapping with the next phase, the recentering, which has to happen before refocusing can occur, where I'm going to be moving toward in the next period of my life. Although they are all intertwined. Part of what I've been considering is how and why and the manner in which I'm doing these video recordings. And part of it is just really more deeply acknowledging the grief involved with, excuse me, involved with the awareness of the limitations that I'm dealing with. I know everyone has limitations, they're just in different places at different times where any particular individual's limitations are. And let's see, part of the grief is I want to be able to continue my groups, my individual relationship contacts, and um, do these videos, particularly the ones that are where I'm trying to present some topical information um, and offering of that kind. And um, I don't have the capacity to do all of those things, not to the degrees that I wish I could. Um, so it means I have to once again pick and choose, prioritize, and accept the consequences um, of following my chosen priorities. There's a lot of fear for me around doing that. Comes down to this primal fear that comes up over and over again in my life about the fear of what if I discover later that I will have made a wrong decision. So that's a common fear that comes up for me. What if a decision I'm contemplating making turns out to have been a wrong decision? Um, I know a way to disarm that for me personally is to remember that whatever happens, I can learn from the experience. Also, another technique I use is that I can always make a new decision, and also recognize the impersonal nature of this fear. That it's a common human fear, especially if there's insecure attachment. Um, um, I didn't know how to get the kind of love and care that I needed and deserved as a little critter. So there's that part of me that fears doing it wrong. Anyway, um, emotions are just very up right now. Let's see. So grieving. Let's see. The other another part of this is um, then I'm aware that with perhaps the exception of the first video I recorded, that most of these are not meeting my desired standards in terms of clarity, content, and conciseness. Of course, I'm comparing my presentations in part to like Tara Brach and stuff. Um, I want to be able to offer content that's more, excuse me, easier to access with less um, unnecessary pauses or um, going off on tangents and stuff. But that's part of what's possible, how it's possible for me to do stuff at this time. And part of the value that I have to offer right now is being willing to share the example of the imperfections of how I'm presenting what I am presenting. It's probably part of what's been adding to the sense of overload lately, is because this means regularly the feelings of inadequacy and bumping up against the limitations of how I'm able to present information in contrast with how I wish I could, um, how I would have been able to do it. more cleanly with less noise in the signal to noise ratio sense in the past, during periods of higher functioning disability and during the pre disability years. Um, and also, part of the grief of it is knowing I could do a better job of it now. But that in order to do so, I would have to expend a lot more of my limited functional capacities and a lot more of the part of those capacities that's my highest levels of functioning. I find a consistent tendency to want to save everything that's important to me for those smaller periods of what for me at this time is my higher functioning, better energy, more clear mind, greater ability to focus, some stamina. And there's just more things I would like to do with that time than there is capacity available. And so those are limits that I need to accept because this is part of the circumstances I'm living with. They're not things that are easily changeable, particularly in a short term way. So, this and other efforts were things that I was very excited about, ways that I felt I could contribute that are more durable than the beneficial impacts that happen in one-to-one contact and in group participations. And part of what's important to me is building a more enduring legacy. And I still feel this is part of it. Um, and I'm in a part of this period is reassessing my engagements and involvements and constructing a new framework for where I'm going to try to be, where I'm going to prioritize putting my energy and attention in the next period of my life. And for the depth of the cycle that I'm going through right now, I couldn't just refine what I was already doing. I tried that for at least 2 months, and it wasn't a deep enough space. So a lot of things have shifted for me in the past several years, and in the past several months, and so it's time for a significant refocusing. So so this is part of the coming back to my center, the recentering process is discovering what's true, getting in touch with the feelings that are alive in me and need to be acknowledged and engaged, and the grief, the grieving process once again. guess I'm getting pretty good at this. There's been a lot of grieving over the past several years over losses of capacity and how that's changed my whole future. In part by decisions I made, um, and the consequences of those decisions on my health is a significant thing. Um, anyway, losing my focus here, so I'll end shortly. Yeah, this is the point where when I don't have bullet points to speak from or a script to follow, that I've lost touch with the initial impetus for why I began this thread of conversation. Anyway, the process continues, even though uh, no, I don't need to add any more detail at this time. Thank you for listening. I hope this helped you in some way. And bye for now. Namaste. Be well.